Okay, the head, it's not done yet. I still got some more polishing to do on it. But this is what I'm up to now. Gonna play around with the handle a little bit. Here's my block of wood that I'm gonna get the handle made out of. Gonna take on Piper's axe that I made for him. I used this handle. This is my Wetterling's hatchet, and the head's a little bit bigger. This has a 1.8 pound head. One pound 8 ounce head is what this is. 1 pound 8 ounce. Now I did measure this or weigh this, and this one is 1 pound 2 ounce. So I'm gonna go with the shorter handle. This is my Husqvarna hatchet. Now it's got a 1 pound 6 ounce head on it, but I like the handle here. It's a real nice handle, fits the hand good. So I'm going to copy it as a pattern, and all I'll do is lay it out here and just take my pencil and go a little bit oversized, of course, but and come up here and like I said, of course it's going to be oversized, and then just match them lines up. Don't have to be nothing perfect. Like I said, it's oversized, but I think that'll work good. Now I don't have a bandsaw to cut these out. I'd love to have a bandsaw, but all I can do rough cut is I'll cut it out rough on the table saw. So get things going here. This blade up as high as it'll go. It's a pretty big block of wood that I'm going through. Actually, my blade just goes through the blade, and yeah, this ain't the safest thing in the world, but if there's any safety people out there, this is the time that you turn your head. But here we go. Okay, we got this side roughed out. Like I said, it's roughed out. But there's what we're looking at right now. So now we need to go to this way. So just not too much curve here or anything. But I do like to make a flare pommel end. That's way oversized, but that'll give me something to start with, and then just extend this up there. Extend this one down. Darken these up. Make it something like that. Okay, roughed out. Roughed out. Really. Started just a wee little bit of sand in here. But yeah, this is my process. If I had a bandsaw, I could cut that down a lot better. I got a saber saw. This ash is so hard that it's hard to cut with saber saw. So rough it out on the table saw like this, and then I just take the grinder and go. I'll show you a little bit of it. It's gonna get noisy. The grinder makes lots of noise, and then the air compressor is gonna come on, and that makes a lot of noise. So yeah, I've got my lines that I try to go to now. You won't be able to see them, but here it goes. It's real noisy, so yeah, that's what I go. So I'm gonna shut you off and do some more, and I'll let you see after a while. Okay, got a little bit smoothed out here. Coming in shape. Everything's still squared up right now. I've been sanding probably a half an hour on it. If I had a bandsaw, I could be at this stage here without any sanding. But it is what it is. It's all needs the corners knocked off now. And the top half needs finished. You can see some of my pencil lines are still there, and pencil line here. But taking shape. So far, looking good. Okay, I'll be back with an update in a little bit. Okay, this is what we got so far. Got her work down. Getting close. Just a little bit away. So, gotta finish working that down. Then start rounding everything off here. Hope that was in view there. I'm using a point and shoot camera, so I don't have a front view finder. So hopefully this is all in range. So I'm gonna do some more sanding. Guess I'll let you watch a little bit of sanding here. I'll let you watch till the air compressor comes on, and then I'll shut it off. Okay, got it getting down where this goes down on it about an inch or so. Now I got a slot in here so I can put a wedge in it later. Normally use a hand saw for that, but this is so small It's got such a small eye in it. The handsaw blade will cut a lot of material out of here. So I'm just going to use a hacksaw blade. And for this task, I got it locked in my workmate here, but it's going to want to wiggle a little bit. So got my son Jacob here to help me. Say hi, Jacob. So he'll be holding on the bottom side of the workmate on the hatchet handle, and I'll run the hacksaw. You can hold that handle down there so it don't go any place. And you want to get this right in the center. Of course, not wanting to cooperate with me and go in the center. There it goes. Okay, you understand. I'm getting excited. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. We still got some hand sanding to do now. A little bit more with the grinder to do. But it's really looking good. I mean, you can buy them nicer, store-bought, I'm sure, but I am pleasantly surprised with the way it turned out. It's not done yet, but up to this point, very pleasantly surprised. I'm a little bit big on my pommel. I like big pommels. I'm gonna have to take a little bit off of it though, because it is big. See what we can see what we started off imitating, and what we got as a finished product. But yeah, the head's still got to go down at least 3/4 of an inch. Head's got to go down. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm sure whoever wins this, picks this, as long as they keep some linseed oil on it, about once a year. After the first year, once a year, but when you get it, you'll need to put it on after 1 month, and then after 3 months, and then after 6 months, and after that a year, once a year, every year will be good. Should last you a lifetime. Should last you a lifetime. Hopefully. I mean, now if you leave it out in the rain, of course the head's gonna rust. It's just bare steel. It needs a coat of oil on it. It got to be oiled all the time to keep it from. It's just like a rifle. So keep some oil on it. It'll be good. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit more final sanding. You can see how that fits on there, beautiful. Final sanding with the grinder. I switched over to 240 sandpaper now. All this is done with 24 grit. Now I got 240 on there, and I still got to polish this head up, hand sand it, put the two together. Okay, got it all sanded with the grinder. Now we're down to hand sanding. Just using 80 grit sandpaper. I probably won't go much finer than that, only because you don't want this handle to be too slippery. Start swinging it, it slips right out of your hands. That's no good. I'm going to put a razor edge on this hatchet, and I do feel that hatchets and axes need razor edges. They're a cutting tool. They are less dangerous with a razor edge if you use them properly. A blunt edge, you have to work harder. That's why you're more likely to get hurt with a blunt edge. So yeah, you don't want the handle to fly out of your hand. So an 80 grit sandpaper is plenty smooth enough. Now if I was making a show piece, strictly show piece, yeah, I would go to 240 or maybe 320 to finish it up. And on a show piece, I'd want to highlight the grain. I would use a lacquer finish or a polyurethane finish. But there again, something very slippery. We don't want it to be slippery. We want to use this tool as it's meant to be used. So the finish on this is going to be boiled linseed oil. Boiled linseed oil will protect this very good. It will go into the grain, soak in. Before I ship this hatchet out, I will have 5 coats of boiled linseed oil on it. Then whoever wins this hatchet, you will need to put another coat of boiled linseed oil about 3 months. And then another one about 6 months. It's real easy to do. I'll show it in this video, but all you do is get the linseed oil on your hands. You probably should wear rubber gloves just so you don't get oil penetrating your skin. I don't, but and then just rub it in. You want to make sure that you get the end grain real good, the top of the hatchet real good, and then that's it. Like I say, 3 months, and then again at 6 months, and then about once a year after that. It's not a hard finish. It's not a glossy finish. You can buff it and get a little bit of a shine out of it with just a cotton rag. I don't recommend it, only because, like I said, you want this thing to have grip on it. You don't want it when you're swinging it to fly out of your hand. So just light coat of boiled linseed oil at 3 months and 6 months, and then at a year, and then once a year after that. As long as you don't leave it lay outside overnight, leave it lay out in a rainstorm, you'll be plenty good. If it does get wet, it's not the end of the world. Get it into a dry spot. Treat the head of the axe first. Make sure that get it dry. Get it wiped down. Get some oil on it. 3-in-1 oil, WD-40. All of that will work. My recommendation is a good gun oil. They make so many good synthetic gun oils these days. Something with a little bit of silicone in it. But anything that you use to prevent rust on a gun, if it's good enough for a gun, it's good enough for a hatchet. So like I say, treat it right over the hatchet head right away. Then let the wood dry out. Give the wood time to dry out before you put anything on it. But get it out of the wet environment. Let it dry out. Then once it's dried, put a good coat of boiled linseed oil on it. And then probably a week after that, put another coat on it. You can put too much boiled linseed oil on, and what happens if you put too much on, the excess just sort of stays on the surface, and then it gets sticky. If that happens, the best way to remove that stickiness is with more boiled linseed oil. Sounds funny, but now you're putting it on a rag and you're rubbing it in. And with the fresh linseed oil that you're using, it'll eat the sticky stuff and it'll clean up that sticky layer. Once you feel no longer sticky, then wipe the rest of it off with a rag. Wipe the residue off with a rag. Give it a week or two. Put a light coat of linseed oil on, and you're good to go. If you have so much on that it is so sticky that you cannot get it dissolved with the linseed oil, then you can get it dissolved with acetone, lacquer thinner, fingernail polish remover, will work. Anything like that. But once you use those type of products to clean the sticky gum off of it, then it's very important after that dries, as soon as that dries, to get a fresh coat of oil put on it. So just that short time that I've been talking to you, I think we're there. I think are finished, other than blowing off a lot of dust off of the handle, off of me. I went in for lunch today. Had to change my shirt, of course. Didn't change my pants. No sense of having a double dirty pants in one day. My wife won't like that in the laundry. Before I go in, I'll end up taking the air hose and blowing these pants off, getting all this dust off of me that I can. But just wood dust. It's not gonna kill you. So here we go. Let me know what you think. The handle is at this point in time ready to install. So I've got some more work to do on the head. I'll be back on the grinder on the head. I'm not happy with the results that I'm getting out of it right now. I'm getting some waves. I'm not exactly sure why I'm getting them waves. This is my third head that I've cleaned up like this, polished. I didn't get those waves in the other two heads, so I'll be won't be done until I'm satisfied with it. Like I said, when I'm done with this, I want this to shine like chrome. And right now it's got a shine to it, but it's got the waves in there that I don't like. I really enjoy a lot of waves. I like waving to all my friendly neighbors. I like waves at the ocean, but I don't like waves in a hatchet. So I'll get them out. Then as soon as I get them out, these two pieces will be married, and hopefully it'll be a match made for life. I've got to make a wedge for it. It's really it fits like a glove, and once I drive this handle down into the head of the hatchet, put a wedge in, it'll be permanent and ready for a lot of use. So we'll see you then. Okay, we're getting ready to put the wedge in. Got the top of the hatchet onto the handle, and then I took and drove it down on with a hammer like this, driving the handle into the hatchet head. So the shaft is solid into the head on this side. Now we need to spread this and put a wedge in. I make my own wedges. Let me get the linseed oil, or not linseed. Yeah, I think the pulled linseed, I think it's in there. I make my own wedges, and I cut a taper on them because this is a pretty sharp taper out at this end. So I just cut a taper so it matches. So this is so tight in here, I gotta spread it with a screwdriver to get this wedge started. And once I get it started, my son's gonna help me again. We're gonna use some linseed oil to help lubricate this wedge to go in. I'm way out of frame, I think. Is that better? Mm-hmm. That is linseed oil. It's going to lubricate that wedge so it'll slide down in there and lock it in place. It'll be buried in there for life now. Try to get some down in there. Okay, now Jacob's going to help me hold this, and with a scrap piece of wood I'm going to drive it down in. You could just hammer it down in with a hammer, but that'll break the wedge. And if you keep the wedge in one piece, you're a lot better off. So I'm just driving it down until it stops. Just like that. It's buried in there. That don't have to worry about that going any place now. So now I'll go ahead and cut the top of that wedge off and sand the top of the handle down a little bit. Put some linseed oil on it. It'll be done. Okay, we're all put together. And I put some linseed oil on. If I can get the cap off right. There it goes. I already got one coat on. I forgot to turn the camera on. I was talking to it, just didn't have it turned on. So it's simple, easy to put linseed oil on. I just pour it on, get it on there nice and thick. Now once you start getting up to a couple coats, you don't want to put it on as thick. These first couple coats, it'll just soak it right in. This wood has been aged for 5 years, and it's just going to suck it right in. But after you get a couple coats on, you don't want to go as thick, because like I said earlier, if you put too much on, it's going to turn gummy on you. It's sticky. So just rub it on with your hands. You can wear gloves if you want to. And then once it's on there, You can wipe the excess off with a rag. But I wouldn't, don't wipe it all off. So that's what it looks like after the second coat of linseed oil. I'm sure somebody's going to be quite happy with this. Get your VRs in, SVs, SVRs as Piper says, whatever it takes. But if you're interested in winning this, shoot me a VR. And August the 4th is the close of the contest. I'll probably have the drawing on the 5th. That's a Monday, so I should be able to have the drawing then. And some lucky person's gonna have this show up in the mail to them. Good luck.